Dragon Age Absolution is a 2022 animated series showing on Netflix, starring Phil Lamar as Roland, Matthew Mercer as Fairbanks, and Ashley Birch as Quidion. So you would, if you are a fan of animation or video games, like at all, these are three names that I'm very familiar with. Between Phil Lamar, Matthew Mercer, Ashley Birch, I mean, they probably have like 500 titles of like just stuff like cartoons, animated movies, video games, like in between them. This is ridiculous. They are pretty much like some of the top voice acting actors that's kind of working today, and they kind of brought the A game to the series. What's it about? All right, an elf named Marion. Hold on. Let me move this wire. Almost knocked my mic over. Alright, elf named Marion is dragged back into the controversial Teventer Empire, where elves are still held as slaves by a crew headed by an old love interest. Soon she is an integral part to a scheme to steal a relic called the Circulum, a powerful magical item, but she soon runs into people from her painful past, and the plan, of course, falls apart, and the conflict comes to a head. What I like about it, okay, full disclosure, this Dragon Age is one of my favorite video games ever of all times. Dragon Age Inquisition, I should say, is one of my favorite video games ever, all time. If you follow me, and nobody does, so you wouldn't know this, but I am very much into high fantasy. I'm into fantasy. I'm into role RPGs. I'm into role play. You get what I mean? Anyway, so I'm very much into the genre. This is one of my favorite universes, one of my favorite games, and in anything Dragon Age on there, I will at least check it out. I love it. And BioWare, Dread something. The next Dragon Age game coming out next year, I hope. But hey, if Cyberpunk taught us anything, make the game, get it right. I can wait. But so going into what I like about it, just the universe in general, I absolutely love Dragon Age. I love Thetis. I love pretty much the whole world. Like I'm totally into it. I played through Inquisition 3 times. I played through the first one should be about 3 times. A fourth, actually. I started playing it again a little while ago. And the second one was cool. I played through the second one twice. Like this, for some reason, everybody kind of shits on the second one, on Dragon Age 2, but I thought it was alright. It was fine for what it was. But yeah, okay. That out of the way. So just having more Dragon Age content is thrilling, since it's been too long, so long, since the last game released, and we most likely have a few more years until the next Dragon Age game, Dread Wolf. That's what it's called. Dread Wolf releases. They've been hinting, and I think they may be eyeing next year, but I wouldn't. Maybe more will come out during this E3 is officially canceled. Summer Games showcase of shit you're going to buy in December and next year. So we might get more word on that, and I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I've been playing Dragon Age over the past years, just over and over, because I love that series and I can't get enough. The animation is gorgeous and very sharp. It kind of I watched about half of this on my iPad Air, and it just pops. It's like it just popped off the screen. Like, it's very, very gorgeously animated, and it was really cool. It takes place in Teventer. Now, Teventer in the Dragon Age realm is very, very controversial. It's a place where elves are still held like under bondage, like like actual like slavery and stuff like that. And so there's a lot of people that kind of hate Teventer. And yeah, what there's and I think the circle kind of fell apart there. It's the place where it's like a school for mages. Well, it's a school, quote unquote, but it's really kind of like a confinement camp because a lot of people are like afraid of mages and afraid of abominations, where people mages kind of like go into the fade and they get in contact with a demon, and then like the demon like possesses them, or they bring something back, and then like the demon kind of takes over them or something, and they like become like super powerful and whatever, and so they call them like abominations basically. So I told you I was into this. I'm so super into Dragon Age. I love the show. I love the show. I love the game. I love the show. Yeah, I'm totally into it. So yeah, but in the games, there isn't a lot. You don't really go to Teventer, really. I think that's one of the places you don't really venture into that much, like in all three games. And so like having them actually go into Teventer and go through all that was pretty fun, pretty cool. As I'm sitting there like, oh, this actually takes place in Teventer. Okay. Yeah, because there's characters you run into from Teventer, like my guy in Dragon Age Inquisition. I'm blanking on his name. It was the dude with the mustache and like the half clothed robe or whatever, like the red and black robe. I can't remember his name, but yeah, and like half the characters on there hated him, and like half the characters on there was like, yeah, okay, bro, whatever. But yeah, it was really cool that they went through Teventer, and so I really love that aspect of it. The story of Miriam, who is an escaped slave, does a great job of highlighting just why Teventer and the Imperium are so vilified throughout Thedas. Yeah, it's because like in the games you hear about it, like you hear about it and they tell stories about it and all that, but actually going in there, that's why I hope Dreadwolf takes us through Teventer 2, so we can like go there and see. I don't believe we go through Teventer in Inquisition though. I don't think so. I don't. If we do, I don't remember. I played it 3 times, so if I can't remember it, I don't. But it could be Senior Corona. Walk on my memory. Know what I mean? And so yeah, that was. I really loved that, and I'm so looking forward to the next Dragon Age game. What I don't like about it, the characters. Now, Dragon Age kind of lives and breathes not only on the world of Thedas, but on its characters. Like they have some very memorable characters and some very like beloved characters. Vivian, Morgan, Cassandra. What's my guy? The dwarf with the crossbow. I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. But yeah, they have some very, very memorable characters, and the show, the characters are pretty one note and they kind of deliver this kind of like predictable lines, like this. I don't know if that's a nitpick, but it was just something for me. It's probably fine. It's probably just fine, and I'm into this. I'm super into this, and my expectations are a little bit higher. But and none of those characters show up in this either. So yeah, I was kind of bummed about that. Actually, no, I think there was like a mention. I think somebody was mentioned in this. If memory serves, I watched this like about 2 months ago, so. I think somebody was mentioned. Oh, one of those characters was mentioned in here, but yeah, it was just that the characters were kind of like, more of a focus on characters' orientation than on what makes them interesting, and that kind of boils down to like being one note. And this thing, I don't know if that picked up on the camera. This thing just went to sleep on me. Yeah, I didn't. It was. I don't know. It's probably just a me thing. I'm looking. I have way more expectations going into this, but yeah, it was just like none of them were like interesting. There were no like interesting characters. Even the bad guy, who I can't remember his name, because I mean he was just the bad guy in here, but that story was interesting about him. He was trying to bring back his brother, but you know he was a elf, so he was a slave, so it wasn't really his brother, but it's he was a slave, so he grew up with him, but he wasn't really his brother. Like he's thinking like, yeah, he was to rule over them, but he wanted to bring him back, and he had this whole thing to get Miriam back, who was a Miriam's brother as well, that she like grew up in the same household with the guy, and so yeah, it's the story itself was okay. It was pretty interesting, but yeah, it was just I don't know. But I will say the dragon. I did say the animation was really good, but there's one caveat to that. The dragon was very kind of just oh, you know, it was very very kind of. It was super CG. You could tell it was like a computer generated thing. It was just yeah. I was a let down though. But everything else around it was okay. It was pretty cool. Author's introspective for this one. Very by the numbers plot for a fantasy story. Very predictable. The one aspect of it was, you know, when that guy tried to resurrect his quote unquote brother, was pretty cool. But other than that, it was very by the numbers. Very just kind of like, yep, with the beats, just beat the beat the beat the beat. Yeah, even the Kunari character, Quidian, who was my fave in the series, really. But she was still. She wasn't bland. Now I'll change my mind on that. She was not bland, but she was very kind of the lighthearted, aloof character. You know, she was that character type. Even though she was kind of like my favorite one. I'm not even more interesting, but just like my favorite one of the whole kind of crew. But yeah, she was just predictable one-liner. She'd down the whole thing and be like, you know, drop some cutesy kind of funny one-liner. And I don't know. I think I'm being a little hypercritical of this. I don't know, but again, I love Dragon Age. I love this universe. I love this property. So hopefully she'll be in the next game. Like I would really love to see her in Dreadwolf. Like I would love to have her as a party member. Honestly, like I hope they can make that happen. Love the games it's based on. Love the universe. But on Amazon Prime's The Legend of Vax Machina is the better animated fantasy series. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean that's what it is. But Dragon Age Absolution, 3 out of 5. That may be just on the strength of I love Dragon Age so much. I love the series, and so but it's still pretty good. It's still a good watch. It's like 6 half-hour episodes, so that was music to my ears. I can get in relatively quickly and get out, and so yeah, there we go. 3 out of 5.